What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, the one, the only, Rogue King. You know it. Self-appointed, self-anointed. What's going on, guys? Okay, so today's video is going to be about how to counter the Yu-Gi-Oh meta, specifically in burst protocol formats, because obviously, right? Okay, so for starters, to summarize everything, you only have 4 options. 4. Remember this, okay? Option 1 is to play Draco Tail, or which is the number 1 deck in the room, right? The undisputed number 1 deck is Draco Tail. You can play that. And if you do, be aware that it is now your job to play that deck better than everybody else in the room, right? You can do that. It's possible. My suggestion, if you were to do so, is to, instead of focusing on hand traps and non-engine, put in more engine. Okay, particularly the branded Despia engine, because what the game is going to become is a resource management grind game. Okay, and particularly in the mirror match, you're going to find that the person who wins is the person who outlasts the opponent. And if you add a larger branded Despia engine into your deck, you will outlast them, particularly if you add things like branded Lost, for example, and just a larger Despia package in general, right? So that's your one option. Option 2, you can simply play the second best deck in the room, which is branded Despia. Out of all the decks out there, the only deck that genuinely is on an anywhere similar level to a Draco Tail deck is branded Despia, for the very fact that the branded Despia deck is just so dang good at resource management, and there just really isn't anything else that can do it. Branded Despia comes close, but branded Draco Tail and other Draco Tail variants are just a little bit better, and that can make the difference, right? But you could play that, in which case, know your lines, okay? Know your lines, know the branded Draco Tail weaknesses, and just play better, right? Option 3. This is the only other deck that is theoretically as good at resource management as those two. And that deck would be some sort of pile deck, right? Like, historically speaking, when pile decks get going, right, they really are really difficult to stop. So if you can figure out a really consistent pile deck, maybe that'll get you there. And then just know how to really beat the Draco Tail matchup, really know how to beat the branded Despia matchup, that'll get you there, right? You're not really worried about any other decks in the room. You're not worried about Radiant Typhoon. You're literally not worried about anything else. You are just worried about the Draco Tail matchup, and by extension, the branded Despia matchup. That's it. No other deck matters to you, because you can build a deck that has better resource management than any of those other decks out there. The only decks that have that high level of resource management that really is a concern is the Draco Tail, and by extension, the branded Despia. Okay? Now, your fourth option. This is the easiest option. Believe it or not, this one's the easiest option. That option is going to be building a deck catered towards beating those two matchups. And what I mean by that is a blind second deck, believe it or not. Check this out, okay? If you look at the Draco Tail deck, everything that it does, regardless of the build, all boils down to the Rahu and the Cartesia, and maybe by extension the Arthalion if it gets to that point, right? If you stop the Rahu and the Cartesia, you will more than likely win, okay? But let me continue on with this thought. Now look at the branded Despia. Same thing, but instead of Rahu, it's Brand Diffusion, right? Let them do everything. Let them do everything. Whichever deck you're facing, let them do it all. You just need to stop the Rahu and the Cartesia, or the brain diffusion and the Cartesia. If you stop those two things, whatever they end on is going to be enough for you to handle. You can handle it, right? Now, here's the thing. You could say, okay, let me just build a regular deck that specializes in breaking those two cards. You can. Here's the thing, though. If you're going first and your objective is to stop those two cards, sure, you'll be able to do so, but they'll still be able to put up enough of a board that chances are on the crackback you will not be able to do the 8,000 damage. So instead, what you're going to do is you're going to play a blind second deck that has like 18, 20 hand traps, so that you are guaranteed to have enough stuff to break their board, whatever board they manage to put up, right? Like, the reason why this is important, right? Because if you go first, you risk them mulch-harming you, and then on top of that, you have to break their brain diffusion and Cartesia, or whatever it may be, right? But if you're going second, you get to mulch-harm them. And so you're more likely to draw into the things you need to break them, and draw into engine pieces to get to that 8,000 damage when it comes to your turn. So those are your 4 options. Just those 4. And of those 4 options, the easiest one, absolutely, by far, is your blind second deck. That's what I would recommend you try. If you feel like you're a competent enough player, you can try one of the other 3 options. But those are definitely much higher skill level. Much, much, much higher. Because all 3 of those other options requires you to play the game better than basically everybody else in the room in order to top. All right, so that's the video today, guys. I just wanted to add, make sure you go outside, enjoy the day, the beautiful skies and stuff. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your life. It's not all about being indoors, it's not all about being an introvert, It's about loving your life, loving yourself, loving the world, loving life, loving the nature and things like that. Enjoy it, yeah. If you like this kind of videos, let me know. Let me know if you have any other suggestions as well, or any other questions or anything like that. And please do, if you like this content, you know what? Subscribe, like, comment, all that kind of thing. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, guys. You all have a good one. Mwah.